package. I remember back when I was touring for Get Rich or Die Trying. I found myself in a hotel room with an extraordinarily attractive and intelligent woman. Just before things started to go down, I excused myself and used the restroom. As soon as I shut the door, I started doing a little jig and grinned from ear to ear at myself in the mirror. I was so excited I even jumped up in the air and clicked my heels. I just had to take a moment and celebrate. I literally couldn't believe the caliber of woman who was waiting for me in the other room. Today, I'm a little more laid back in those sorts of situations. But I never lost sight of the reality that as much as I enjoy women's company, my sexiness will always be tied to my success. Even if a woman presents differently at first, I still suspect it's part of her motivation. This makes it very difficult to determine who I want to pursue a deeper connection with. I'm always wondering, does she want 50 Cent or Curtis Jackson? This is why I'm definitely more attractive to women who aren't overly impressed by the persona of 50 Cent. In other words, the ones who act like they don't need 50 Cent but could be interested in Curtis Jackson. For example, a lot of people have been curious about my relationship with the comedian Chelsea Handler. I guess we seemed like an odd couple. I didn't care about what anyone else thought. Chelsea and I met on her talk show, and I started pursuing her right after. I called the office and asked to speak with her. She didn't hit me back at first, but finally I got in touch with her when she was about to go to Nashville for an event. I asked if I could fly down and meet her, and she said okay. After that, we ended up hooking up whenever we were both in LA. I even made plans to go on vacation with her and her family. Don't worry, I'm not putting her business out there. She's talked about all this publicly. We had fun times when we were together. But what really attracted me to her was how she moved professionally. In addition to a talk show, she also had a reality show and was writing best-selling books. She was a real boss. With all of her various hustles, she was probably pulling in over $30 million a year. That was sexy as fuck to me. Most important, she made it very clear she didn't need anything from me. Chelsea had way too much going on to ever look to me for making something happen for her. If anything, I was probably trying to soak up a little bit of her energy. Ultimately, it never went anywhere serious. There was a bit of a miscommunication before my ex-girlfriend Sierra was scheduled to appear on Chelsea's TV show, and we stopped talking after that. I still think she's amazing, though. She's achieved so much success, and what makes it even more impressive is that she's done it on her own terms. I've never been a big proponent of marriage. Maybe I'm jaded because I've spent a lot of time in Hollywood, where I've learned husband is really just another way of saying my serious boyfriend. At the end of the day, I view marriage as a business deal, and not a particularly good one for the person coming into the relationship with the most money. But as I get older, I start to find myself getting more open to the idea of settling down and building a more stable family life. When I go through the mental checklist, the things I look for in a potential wife, I'm not starting with looks or fame. Those qualities aren't as important to me anymore. The most critical quality for any woman I'm going to be interested in is self-sufficiency, both financial and emotional. Otherwise, I'm always going to think they're just trying to get me to sign one of those bad contracts. As I was telling a friend the other day, taking care of a woman is not a bad concept, but taking care of a woman who has to be taken care of is a terrible concept. Once I keep going down the checklist, I'm going to have to see qualities like compassion, sense of humor, love of family, and ambition. Okay, being cute won't hurt either, but it's that absence of neediness that's going to make me receptive to the possibility in the first place. That's how powerful putting out an aura of self-sufficiency can be. It can even get a jaded bachelor like me to talk about putting a ring on it and settling down. Own your narrative. We've been talking about why it's so important to craft your own identity. And now I want to share some examples about people who have been hurt by letting other forces control how they're publicly perceived. I often think about my close friend, the late prodigy of Mobb Deep. The duo, which included his partner Havoc, was legendary for the gritty depiction of life in Queens' notorious Queensbridge projects. Prodigy was an incredible artist, and without a doubt one of the best rappers of his generation. But for a lot of people, the defining moment of his career came in 2001, when Jay-Z infamously mocked him by putting him on the Summer Jam screen. If anyone isn't familiar with this story, Jay-Z and Mobb Deep were involved in a public beef at the time, which led to Jay rapping the following about Prodigy. When I was pushing weight back in '88, you was a ballerina. I got the pictures, I seen you. It was a reference to the fact that Prodigy used to be a dancer at the ballet studio his mother ran in Queens. And yes, Jay had actually gotten his hands on a picture of Prodigy in ballet tights, which he later infamously put on the screen at Summer Jam. The implication was clear. Prodigy talked about how much of a gangster he was in his music, but at heart he was really soft. In hip-hop, you can't get much softer than being a ballerina. Prodigy clapped back at Jay, but it didn't really reverse the damage. That picture of him in ballet tights on the Summer Jam screen was a major blow, one that he never truly recovered from. I never felt it should have been that damaging, though. Yes, it was true that Prodigy's mother ran a ballet studio, and that he used to take classes there. What was so embarrassing about that? He had a mother who raised him in the arts. He was cultured. To me, that sounds like an amazing childhood and nothing to be ashamed of. If anything, I felt like Prodigy's arts background made him